Hi everyone and welcome to Open Source Tonight. Today I wanted to talk to you all about why I like Linux. Now I have touched on like some of the reasons I like Linux before, etc. But today I wanted to just kind of go into that a little more. It really all comes down to the fact that I like to just have fun with it. Like, it's cool when I have a little bit of spare time, I can try a new Linux distro and throw in a VM and have, just a new experience. And there's all these different desktops, it's customizable. I find that kind of fun. Now, it's funny when I want to just get the system working, I want to not have to customize a lot. I don't want to have to do a lot of stuff, but sometimes I just want to tinker. I want to just see what I can do if I wanted to try to do something complicated. Could I do something complicated? Could I not? Well, I wanted to know. Well, regardless of that, the reality of it is that for me, Linux really is a really powerful tool. I really love it, and I've been using Linux for several years now. In fact, I started using it many years ago, much more than 2 or 3 years ago. And for me, I really I don't know, the system, there's so many things I like about it that's really great. One thing that's really great about it that I really love is SSH. Now, you might say SSH is available on other platforms. It is. But in Linux, there's basically a command line utility to do anything you need. So if you have a server or anything you need to remote into, right? You can do it with SSH and do pretty much anything. You can, do maintenance on your disks. You can, just do software updates. You can install software. You can, change configurations because it's usually text-based in a config file. You update the config file via SSH, and then you would then restart the service via SSH, and then you're done. So, little things like this is why I like it, because it gives me the ability, quite frankly, to do what I want. The system stays out of my way, right? Again, when you're using like a Windows or a Mac system, you can get SSH servers for those. But the reality of it is, as somebody that's used the command line of all three platforms, it does seem to me like you can do so much more, especially in a stock Linux install, than you can a stock Mac or a stock Windows install. Again, there's some utilities you can get that you could install and all this. But again, as we've established, I do like to try and keep things relatively closer to the stock level. Again, customize to taste, a little bit here and there, but realistically, I don't want to completely have to change it, because then if I need to reinstall or duplicate it, if I don't make an image or something, I would have to do a lot of effort or build a script. I'm not saying I'm completely not opposed to doing that occasionally, but I don't want to be dealing with it all the time. Another thing I really like about Linux, as far as me goes anyway, is the fact that as somebody that really likes ARM and being able to play with that, Linux has got really good ARM support, because of course it does. Linux for decades has had great support on a variety of processors. It's been ported to PowerPC 32, 64-bit, x86, x32. Well, I guess ported is not the right word, because it's really meant on, the old IBM PC compatible architecture, but you get what I mean. Like, it will run, if you find the right distro that is shipping the right kernel and compiled everything for your specific architecture, you can run basically anything. So that's really cool. So because of that, I'm really a big fan of Linux, because again, you can realistically run it on pretty much anything. Sure, some hardware might be harder to get it on than others, but if you're willing to take the time and you have the technical know-how, you can get Linux to run on pretty much anything, from a little $20 little single board computer kind of device, $20, $30 computer like that, like the Raspberry Pi, all the way up to supercomputers. Because the world's supercomputers, a lot of them are literally running Linux. That's something to think about. Our operating system is so powerful that we literally can be on the lowest end to the highest end. There is no range really there, or there is a lot of range there. Another big one for me is the fact that Linux has really got a lot of things that just really help my workflow. For example, one thing that I want to be doing in the future is build a storage server, and I'm probably going to use Linux or maybe FreeBSD for that, because I like the way that those systems handle drives and all of that. Again, somebody that's used to Windows and the way Windows handles drives might not care as much for that, but personally I do. And again, the world web servers, so many of them run on Linux, right? I mean, so much of it, Another big one that I really like about Linux, and this kind of comes back to the customization, is that with Linux, I have the ability to build my own apps and not have to deal with any, crap around that. So regardless, I think Linux is a wonderful operating system, but you probably already picked up on that. I haven't exactly been very shy about my opinions on Linux today. So, here's what I want to know. Tell me in the comments what you think about Linux. Why is it that you like it so much? I'm guessing most of the viewers on this channel are probably at bare minimum at least familiar with Linux and probably a little bit of Linux fans, right? I don't know, maybe not. But let me know, like I said, what are the things you like about it? I want to know. I want to compare notes with my fellow humans. So please let me know. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching Open Source Tonight. I appreciate your viewership. And until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye, everybody.
And action.